This is the Crimson Recap on the SVI Sports Network. Focus on Star Valley High School sports, scores, and highlights from the previous week. The Crimson Recap is presented by First Bank of Wyoming, your home for totally free checking, with local branches in Afton and Alpine, and online at gofirstbank.com. And now, here's your host of the Crimson Recap, Jake Hibbard.
And welcome in. We've got 1 week left in the winter season with state basketball happening this weekend. And both of your Star Valley basketball programs made it through and will qualify for the state tournament. Now, we'll talk about that in just a little bit as we get ready for the final week of basketball as these teams make their state push. But we had one team finishing things up at state this past weekend, and that was indoor track and field. It happened over the week in Gillette, and let's start off with the team results. As the Star Valley boys finished in second place on the 3A podium, 99 points total as a team. The Cody Broncs put in a heck of a show, finishing with 153 points to take home gold. Evanston finished in third place to round out the podium for the boys. Now on the girls' side, Star Valley just missed out on a podium finish with 59 points as they finished fifth place as a team. That was just 1 point behind fourth place Worland and just 2 points behind third place Evanston. The Cody Phillies on the girls' side also took gold. Torrington finished in second place. Now individually, future Duke Blue Devil Valerie Urach scored 40 points by herself for the Star Valley girls. Really impressive stuff, as Urach won the 55-meter, the 200-meter, and the 400-meter sprints, and also took home first place in the long jump. Now on the boys' side, Cale Klinger won the high jump, and Hobby Wetzel won both the 1-mile and 2-mile races. And then the Braves' 4x800-meter relay team also took first place. That relay team was made up of Wetzel, Jace Burton, Matt Haywood, and Peter Lorsch. Congratulations to everyone in Star Valley indoor track and field, and on to the outdoor season. And speaking of the outdoor seasons, coming on back around with soccer and track and field. First practices start today, by the way. How are we looking in Afton? Oh, okay. First day of practice, bring your snow shovels. We got to get a field back. Well, one sport that doesn't actually need to worry about the outdoor weather still playing is basketball, as both the Star Valley girls and boys finished second in the Western Regional Tournament happening in Green River over the weekend, and so they will both be number 2 seeds taking on number 3 seeds Cheyenne East. But how did we get there? Let's start with that. You're taking a look at Star Valley versus Kelly Walsh highlights right now from day 1 of regionals. The girls had Riverton in their meeting for day 1 and came away with a rather handily 49-25 victory to move on to day 2 and the semifinals, where they would take on Rock Springs. As for the boys, it was a pretty good meeting the first time they met not that long ago. Star Valley came out on top narrowly. It was similar this time around, with Star Valley getting an overtime 69-59 victory. Coach Randy Roden came in with his Kelly Walsh Trojans as the number 4 seed, but Coach Shumway and the rest of the Star Valley team knew, when you hear Coach Roden, expect to get into a dogfight. And Star Valley, congratulations to them as they were able to get through that first 4-period game and take the win in what I like to call the 5th period. On to day 2 of regionals as we take a look at some highlights of Rock Springs and Star Valley battling it out in the semifinal matchup. As for the boys, they came away with a 62-44 win over Riverton and punched their ticket into the Saturday Regional Championship against rival Jackson. More on that in a bit. As for the girls, a 41-31 win in the semifinals over Rock Springs, playing in their home Sweetwater County, but away from home gym in Green River. No home court advantage for Rock Springs in this one, as foul trouble plagued them from the beginning to the middle to the end, as they had 4 of their 5 starters foul out. Star Valley found themselves at the free throw line several times and took that to a victory of 10 points to punch their ticket as well into the regional championship with a meeting against the Cody Phillies. And in that Saturday meeting, the Star Valley girls would face off against a Phillies team that has appeared in the last 3 state championship games and is the defending 4A girls state champion. As we look at the highlights, the Phillies got off to a quick start in the title matchup as Molly Hayes took the opening tip right to the hoop to score seconds into the game. Hayes was outstanding as usual in a 66-29 win for Cody as she finished with 24 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 4 steals. Cambry Johnson led Star Valley with 8 points. Now, even with the loss, Star Valley will be the number 2 seed from the West, and that tasks them with a very tough Cheyenne East team, which fell in the semis to Sheridan to drop to the number 3 seed from the East. That was just the 3rd loss of the season for the T-Birds. Star Valley will need to be ready to take on a relentless East defense that comes in forcing opponents to cough up an average of 21 turnovers per game. Offensively, the T-Birds are charged by Brady Schlobs and Jade Brown, and Star Valley posts Emily Dana and Matt Christensen will be tasked with matching Cashlyn Hawes' presence in the paint. That game tips off at Casper College, 4:30 p.m. on SVI News. And as we mentioned, the boys' regional title came down to a rematch of Star Valley and Jackson for a 3rd time this year. They had split in the previous season series. Looking at the highlights of that game, Jackson jumped out to an early lead and never looked back on their way to a 48-42 victory. The Broncs were led by their big man, Andrew Hanna, who almost had a double-double with 22 points and 18 rebounds. Mason Borchardt and Seb Brunner also hit double figures scoring for Jackson. Max Jensen had a team-high 16 for Star Valley, but he was hampered by foul trouble throughout the game. Rebounding and three-point shooting were not strengths of Star Valley this time. The Braves were out-rebounded 34-25 and were able to hit just 4 of 19 from three-point land after they shot 50% from the arc the day before in a win over Riverton. Now the number 2 seed from the West, Star Valley meets up with the number 3 out of the East in Cheyenne East. It's the first meeting of the year for the teams, and Star Valley will need to prepare for a team featuring the quick-footed Drew Jackson, who leads the team in scoring, as well as the outside shooting of Nathan Mirich and the inside presence of Cam Hayes. Tip-off for that game on SVInews.com is noon at Casper College on Thursday. And now let's take a look at what's to come this week in Star Valley sports. Today is the first practice for soccer and outdoor track and field, as we mentioned earlier. And then Thursday through Saturday, March 7th through 9th, it's the state basketball championships. The Star Valley boys will be taking on Cheyenne East at noon at Casper College on Thursday. And as for the Star Valley girls, they'll also be taking on Cheyenne East at Casper College at 4:30 p.m. And that's it for me. Tune in next week for another Crimson Recap.